I want to talk to you about letting go of who you once were and allowing yourself to be who you are right now. This has come up recently with other people and with myself. I think we all change, we're all allowed to, and we're all supposed to. However, sometimes remembering who we were before we maybe reached a level of growth or enlightenment that we were happy with. And of course, we're always growing and we're never going to be completely satisfied. And we shouldn't be. We're always on that path to be better and to move forward. However, it can inhibit your growth if you're constantly looking over your shoulder and remembering how you used to be. Some of you know that I quit drinking and it's almost 5 years ago. And I don't think I ever did anything really terrible, but occasionally I cringe at my behaviour when I was drinking, but also I can cringe at my behaviour from last week, from yesterday. I'm constantly making mistakes and correcting myself and moving on. And I think it's really important to realise that you change who you are from being a child, from being a young adult, wherever you are on your path of growth. You're allowed to let go of that person who you were, to learn from them, but to forgive yourself, because you're not the same person as you were. And some of us are looking back and saying, if somebody knew what I was like. There's a lot of that talk at the moment about cancel culture, where someone does something and everyone suddenly hates on them because of a mistake that they made. I think especially when it's something that you might have done 10 or 20 years ago, it's kind of crazy in a way, because what was okay when I was growing up is completely not okay now. Behaviour, language, the way that we refer to people. Some things are clearly hateful and wrong and always were, but there are some things that are just the way that language has changed and attitudes have changed. And we should, I think, allow ourselves to forgive ourselves and forgive other people as long as they've genuinely moved on. So I thought maybe a little bit of tapping to allow ourselves to let go of the parts of us that maybe we don't like so much. And like I say, that could be somebody that you were yesterday, a mistake that you made last week, last year, or it could be decades ago. Whatever it is, by holding on to it, it's not helping you. Now, of course, if you feel the need to say sorry to somebody, to make it right, to make amends, but if it's just that it's part of your growth and your trajectory of life, then it's time to let it go. So let's do some tapping on moving forward and forgiving ourselves for who we once were. So we shall begin tapping on the side of the hand, as always, well, as usual. And this is the setup statement. Now, I'm just going to use something, and I like to be intuitive here and use it off the top of my head. So I'll probably use something that relates to me, but it could generalize and be useful to you too. So, even though I know I used to say and do stupid things, I still love, forgive, and accept myself. Even though I think about things I did and I feel bad, I love, forgive, and accept myself. Even though I know I've messed up many times in the past, I know I am changing, and I love, forgive, and accept myself. So how does that sound for a setup statement? Does that sound like something that would work for you? Let's think of another one just that might be useful. Even though I know I used to do some pretty bad things, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I've been in trouble and had some really bad behaviour, I know I'm a new person and I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I really messed up, I love, forgive, and accept myself. So remember, the first part of the tapping setup statement is kind of the problem, and then the second part is the affirmation. So choose one of those or write your own down. Even though I did this thing, I love and accept myself, I love and forgive myself, I'm okay with myself. Just some kind of positive affirmation that balances it. And then we're going to do a reminder statement. Again, the reminder statement reminds you to think about the problem so that you can tap and let it go. And the tapping points: eyebrow, side of eye, under nose, chin, collarbone, either side here, underarm, end with the top of the head. And we tap while we saying the words that I'm going to give you in a moment, 5 to 7 times on each point. Don't worry if you forget one, it's completely okay. I do sometimes. I've looked back in some of my videos and thought I missed a point. It's okay. we love and forgive ourselves, right? So I know that I've done some stupid things. I mean, maybe stupid is even the wrong word, but I've made mistakes, and sometimes I've willfully done things that were wrong when I was younger. I aim to not do those things anymore, but we are human, so let's allow ourselves to move on and grow every day. Okay, now, so remember, when you choose your setup statement, find a number from 1 to 10 on how bad it is. 10 being the absolute worst it can be, and we aim to get that number down as much as possible. All right, so let's start the reminder statement. And when I do this, by the way, I am completely going on what comes out. I'm being intuitive. I worry because I have no idea what's going to come out. I have a loose idea of what I want to talk about, but I know that what is needed will come. So let's see what comes. This guilt. This feeling of guilt. This guilt about my past. This shame. Shame and guilt. I haven't always been a good person. I feel like a hypocrite. Here I am, talking about helping people. And I know I've made mistakes. I know I've done bad things. I know I've done things I'm embarrassed about. I know that I have guilt. But this guilt does not help me. This guilt, switching arms now because it's easier. This guilt is stifling my growth. This guilt. So whether guilt, shame, or need of forgiveness, whatever the word is, just keep working on that, and remember that it's as if you're having a conversation with me or with yourself about how you're feeling. So let's continue. So all the way around is 1 round of tapping. I usually do at least 3, sometimes many more, depending on what the problem is. But you should begin to feel relief. This guilt. I remember that time. I remember when I did that thing. How embarrassing. Oh, at least we didn't have social media back then. I would just die if someone saw the things that I did. And the things that I said. Oh, it's cringeworthy. This guilt. This guilt. This embarrassment. This shame. Ugh, this guilt. This guilt. This guilt. And then as the feelings begin to subside, you may begin to feel better. And if you don't, keep tapping on the problem. But usually when I start to tap, things begin to feel better and I get some clarity. I'm sorry, where am I going? This guilt. I don't need to own this guilt. I can let this guilt go. It's not serving me. And I am human after all. I am human. And I am worthy of forgiveness. But I have to forgive myself. And everything that I did. And everything that I said. I choose to let go of. I choose to leave it in the past. I choose to leave it in the past. I choose to let go of guilt, shame, and embarrassment. I choose to move forward. I choose to do my best in the future. I am worthy of forgiveness. I am a good person. I am not bound by past behaviours. I am not tied to my past. I grow and I change and I let go of my past. I let go. Hopefully, as you tap along, you begin to feel better. And there are other techniques that you can find it in my channel. So do feel free to go and find something. Do the 9 gamut that can take the points down even more. And if it's not going, maybe you need to address what the actual issue is. Maybe there is something specific that you need to tap on, or maybe you need to go and say sorry to somebody. Who knows? You know more than I do. But I hope that's helpful. And again, mention in the comments anything that you want to know more about, or if you've got any questions, or if you need some ideas on how to tap for other issues, do let me know. Thank you.